Question number 1. Could you tell us about yourself? Of course. My name is Fahri. I am currently enrolled as a sophomore visual communication design student at Multimedia Nusantara University. So far, in my first 2 years in college, I have made several design projects such as illustrations for a children's book, a visual tourism guidebook for Samarinda City, as well as character and interface designs for a K-pop agency management simulation game. Aside from design projects, I have also taken up several non-academic organizational work, most notably serving as the coordinator for the campus's K-pop song cover club named K-Voice. Question number 2. What motivated your interest in the field of graphic design? Well, I have always been an artistic person growing up. I enjoy creating stories, designing characters, and drawing expressive illustrations. So naturally, I was constantly looking for ways to bring my imagination to life. However, I think what really solidified my interest in graphic design was my experience with curating my IB diploma program visual arts exhibition in high school. I discovered that I loved creating artworks that are not only visually pleasing, but also tell stories and convey meaningful messages to a specific audience. Question number 3. What are your main strengths that are relevant to this position? Technical skills aside, I am a very detail-oriented person, which means I am able to maintain visual consistency across layouts, notice flaws in typography or alignment of the visual assets that others might overlook, and ensure that every output is polished to a professional standard. Question number 4. What weaknesses or limitations do you have as a designer? I sometimes find it challenging to detach myself from the perfectionist mindset during my early ideation phase, which can occasionally slow down my initial sketching process. I could be so focused on technical accuracy that sometimes I have to remind myself to prioritize the bigger picture before refining the little details. To manage this, I have started setting strict time limits for my initial concepting so that I can gather a wider range of ideas before applying my meticulous standards to the final execution. Question number 5. Which design project have you worked on that best represents your skills? I think that the project that best represents my skill set would be the K-pop themed Tycoon game. This project allowed me to combine my technical design skills with my affinity for world building and character development. I didn't just design the interface, I focused on creating this cohesive narrative universe where every character and visual asset served a purpose in telling a larger story. It reflects my belief that design is most effective when it uses narrative and immersive visuals to connect deeply with an audience and convey a meaningful message. Question number 6. What is your workflow from receiving a brief to producing the final design? My workflow begins with a breakdown of the brief to identify the project's core objectives and target audience. I would then move into a research and ideation phase where I create mind maps, find keywords, and establish big ideas that represent the project's overall image and purpose. Once a conceptual direction is set, I proceed to sketching and digital prototyping, where I focus heavily on usability as well as visual impact. Finally, I would make changes based on my team or client feedback, ensuring that all the final assets are precise and satisfy the project's needs. Question number 7. How do you use AI or artificial intelligence in your workflow as a designer? I am a firm believer of the idea that AI should not replace me, but rather be a tool to help me work more efficiently. So in my workflow, I personally do not use AI to generate images or visual assets, but I do use it to generate ideas when I am in, let's say, a creative slump, or to look for information regarding a specific topic more easily. Question number 8. How do you respond to revisions or feedback that differ from your own opinion? Well, I understand that as a designer, my job is to create design drafts that satisfy the client's needs. So whenever I would be met with revisions or feedback, I will accept them and make any necessary adjustments to my design. However, if I do have my own creative input that I believe would add more merit to the overall design, I won't shy away from expressing my views to the client and my team. Question number 9. What would you do if you received an unclear brief or if changes occurred during the design process? Well, first of all, I would ask for an explanation and clarification from related parties, be it my client or my team, about the parts in the brief that I feel are ambiguous or confusing. However, if, after consulting with said parties, the brief is still unclear to me, I would proceed with my design process based on the industry's standard and the project's core objective. If changes were to pop up anywhere during the design process, I would just simply tweak anything that needs to be adjusted. Question number 10, the last question. In your opinion, what is the role of a graphic designer within a team? I believe that in a team, a graphic designer acts as the bridge between a concept or objective and its audience. While other members of a team would focus on statistics, market trends, or business objectives, graphic designers help the team in translating those abstract goals into tangible visual media that conveys the intended messages to the users. That is it for my interview. Thank you.